First item of business, we need to, the motion to excuse John Best.
Make a motion to excuse John Best.
Second. Motion and second, one in favor. Excuse. Here is the doom and gloom. No, I guess it's a whole lot I can remember. Gonna be a lot of numbers.
There is going to be a lot of numbers.
Anybody get their revaluation?
We're not talking about it.
I'm supposed to arrive today, but it's already online. If you want to go online.
I've already seen it.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't you see my face?
Yeah, so.
I'm sitting close to the defibrillator for a reason.
Yeah, I just saw mine. Yeah.
100%.
So don't be surprised when you look at the web. Okay.
Okay, well, I think the way that we'll start, you guys have been provided some information in your packets. And I think the goal here is to kind of go back through the general fund and let you know the changes that we made based on our workshop #1 conversation. And that's actually on the very first page of your packet, right behind the agenda. And I'm gonna
Thank you.
let Connie catch up and chime in, because, you know, this is Connie's work, not mine, but,
Blame on Connie.
Well, how'd that
Well,
box feel?
I'm not blaming, giving credit. No,
Make
not
them covers.
not blaming, giving credit where credit is due, for sure. Like I said, Connie has definitely, put all the hard work into this, for sure. But on that page, you're gonna see there that, the general fund we're presenting today differs, just slightly. And, these are the changes that were made from the first time, during the first budget. So salaries for the governing board, as directed, we've increased that, by $1,500. That would be to bring, have the mayor pay a separate fee rather than the commissioners. Just a little bit more increased than what the commissioners do. And we balance that out by, special projects. You want to go through this, Sean? You are more than welcome to.
Okay, as we talked about last time, I think I had mentioned to you that the computer software maintenance, we had already found out that there was a little bit of it more increase into the computer warriors piece of that. So we're going to see that was increased to 10,420,4601 on page 5 of 25. Was increased by $8,000, which brought it up from 134 to 142. Then you're going to go down to staff development, and I did increase that a little bit because hopefully we're going to have a building inspector, a full-time building inspector. So if we do, we're going to have also our planner, and so we need to have money available for them for their, like, going to school, for trades, so forth. So that was increased from 5,000 to 2,000, making it 7,000. The 450-4,500 inspection building consultant, and that's in reference to our building and some other things that we've already talked about. That's $15,000. And 10,600-0200, you're going to see that is public works. We do not have a new position for the public works specialist that was in the first budget, but we do have classification for mechanic. And actually that is a decrease. From 368,125, we decreased that by 55,125, making that 313. As you follow on down, I won't read each one, but we have a 4,000 for FICA. Proof insurance was decreased by 14,210. Retirement was decreased by 8,751, and 401 was decreased by 2,890. That's by taking out of that specialist position. So, and you'll see each one where it was requested and what the balance is now. Then moving on down to 10,610,0200, and we touched on that a little bit last time. This is for rollout carts. We're trying to figure out a way that we could get the rollout carts back into the option for our property owners. And so the team, Tom, Christina, myself, Rose, I think that's about all, but we all sit down and talk, that we've come up with the scenario of having a part-time, regular solid waste ground specialist and a part-time seasonal solid waste ground specialist. And that includes the FICA, and, that position is actually around 27,000. That would be coming out of solid waste. So you're gonna see 6,180, and then 1,732, and then of course, like I said, the FICA. So, but that's about $27,000 in the difference of the public works specialist to trying to do it a different way to help accomplish both things, if you will. So then on the bottom, we go to the revenue for the ad valorem tax. And that was 10,301. And when you last saw it, it was 2,385,459.67. We've increased that by 636,227.25. Based upon that, at this time, it's 3,021,686.92 is the revenue for the ad valorem tax. That's based upon the penny, represents the 1,631,140.040 represents $163,114, and that's based at 95%. Is what this collection is based on at this time.
A couple of things on the, inspect, or the 4,500 inspectability consultant. That's a one-time expense, isn't it?
That is the expense for the public safety building along with other inspections, and we're just estimating that because we really don't know what that's going to be.
But it's not gonna be reoccurring.
No, it shouldn't be after we have the public safety building built. That's for Mr. Ridenbar.
Right.
That's what that's put in there for.
And then when we get down to, the 200, that's covered under our,
Solid waste.
recycling right now under that.
That's where we would take
start.
that money out of, the solid waste department, yes, sir.
That's already there.
Well, yeah, it's already there for, if we decide to go through that. It's gonna be your decision to make today, if you want to go ahead and proceed with that. If we do, then we have, the numbers that it would cost, which is about $7,000 to implement it in May and June. If you wanted to go ahead and do that, then next year, the full year would cost this amount. That explain that?
A lot of it's covered under our fees that we're charging now.
Yes, sir. It falls in with the revenue. Yes, sir.
So it won't truly increase the general fund.
It's not going to increase the general fund based upon, last year, if you remember, we did not know what recycling was going to cost. We had $140,000 in there, so that's certainly more than what we need. So this year, we're taking that, we're deducting that from what we thought recycling would be and moving that into a different area as salary and FICA. There's no benefits, it's salary and FICA. That's all.
And these are coming out of the solid waste, department because it's the sole purpose for these, positions will be for rollback service. So that we'll be able to do the rollback service in-house, basically.
And we did get an estimation that was gonna cost $100,000 if we got one quote.
with a company.
So any way we slice this, we're gonna be better doing it this way if the board so chooses.
Just for comparison purposes, how much were we paying before for rollback? And when we did it.
That was grouped into the
Yeah.
regular contract.
It was one amount, a monthly, so there wasn't a sectioned out.
Cause he did the carbon, and he did the rollback. And
They did kind of a one-stop shop.
Tons of trash. Okay, so that takes care of that page, and if you go over, we provided, the sheet that First Tryon, has helped us with, or they did. And you'll see revenue neutral, you'll see the current revenue tax rate, the proposed, and which is just what I just told you about, the $3 million, that's based upon these tax rates numbers. Then you have above revenue neutral, and then you have the change. Some, very good information. I'm going to provide that for you. The average growth rate is like 0.65%. Last year prior review val was 764,938,165. So your tax rate or tax value has increased about 113%. So I guess we'll just,
Yeah, yeah, so we can start wherever you like, and certainly we're gonna start with general fund. If it's okay with you guys, I hate to skip around, but you wouldn't mind, maybe looking at the fire department first. Bo unfortunately has somewhere to be, and I just didn't wanna hold him up,
What page that's on
from that. If you guys are prepared for that, we can kind of just go over that again.
what page is that on?
Hold on one second. 13, page 13 possibly, starting page 12.
Starting on page 12 of 25, under the expenditure. And of course, nothing in this department has been changed from the last time that you saw it at budget workshop number 1. So I guess really the question is, do you have any questions? That we can maybe, discuss with them. Obviously, we have, again, nothing's changed. We have your salaries.
I think the second fireman position is the most vulnerable thing you've got in this budget. And I'd like to just go ahead and strike that.
The second,
Second one.
okay, so right now, this is including 2 new ones. You're talking about
Yeah.
1.
And based on timing, not necessarily long-term,
Not
but
long term, no, because this coming year.
we gotta figure out something this year.
So do I hear from it's a consensus of the board that to remove the second fireman and just have one additional fireman in this particular proposed budget right now?
For now.
For now.
See where we go in other discussion.
Okay.
But we better consider the expensive account first. We should really get a vote on that first.
Well, we're gonna vote on the entire budget.
Well, I'm just saying, but I want to say that you're talking about this now, I mean, before you decide, you need to make sure, the rest of the board may say, now we want to keep that position.
Well, I think that's where we're at right now is let's.
So
let's
I
cut
agree
that.
with cut that
You're saying-
position.
You're saying take it out, but the rest of the board may say leave it in.
You don't make a motion.
I mean, you're just kind of.
We would like to keep 2, raise your hand.
And you just can't make it, you can't make an assumption that we're gonna take it out.
I think I suggested that we take it out.
And I suggest I agree with you.
And I agree.
I mean, I don't have any problem with it, that's what we'll do, but I'm just saying,
Well, it's up for discussion right now.
3 just agreed.
It's a workshop, so. Whatever we talk about in here today, it's not gonna get voted on.
No, but it will be direction for the next proposed budget that we hand
I
out.
think that's the general.
Yeah, I had to take out like some from the fire, the retirement, some from 401. I just need to know what direction you want me to go in for the next budget. Budget workshop.
Are we good on that? Okay. I wanted to refer to the capital request from fire
Okay.
department. So obviously, we're going to take out one of the firefighters. There's also turnout gear for one of the, because I think there were 2 new hire turnout gears, so that would reduce it. And that makes sense, chief. If that position go away, then they don't need turnout gear. As I understand it, and I'm looking at the list here, the Scott bottles, the base radios, the replacement of turnout gear, those are all things that have to occur that,
Yeah, so we've got those on a rotation, so
Right.
that we never have to, should never have to buy 2
Yeah.
sets in 1 year. Luckily, right now, we're in a situation where we're only having to replace 1 used set.
Right.
So we need the 1 set plus the new firefighter.
the, one of the questions I had is about the Tempest vent battery. How often do you use the Tempest vent? I mean, is that
So
something?
anytime the Tempest vent fan is used to take the smoke or heat out of the house,
Right,
and we crank it every day. I mean, we run all of our equipment every day, make sure it runs. So the life on those batteries is 2 to 3 years. Well, we're in 2 years of those batteries that we've got. So we know that the 3rd year, if we get, go 30 minutes, we're probably down to about 26 or 25. So by the time it's just replacing that set of batteries.
And when you say you crank them, they're gasoline and.
These are battery
Right, that's what I
operated,
thought.
but when we run all of our equipment, gas,
Right.
electric, it don't matter, battery operated, it's run every day.
Yeah. When's the last time we used one of them? One of the.
In an actual fire,
Yeah,
probably about 8 months ago,
okay.
on room and content.
Would it be feasible to replace one this year, one next year, just to get them on
We have two of them.
Right.
We have two fans.
okay,
We have two fans, so, it would be into the time we get them ordered and get them here, it's gonna be December, so we will be in the next year of, with that, I
But
mean,
not next fiscal year.
not right,
Yeah.
the next budget year.
and looking at some of the other items, the two nozzles, what I understood is that can be a safety thing because it would allow your firefighters to, fight fires at a more of a distance or with fewer people, is that correct?
Fewer people at a further distance, just,
Yeah, have to say that I'm kind of mixed on the rest of the items. The back chainsaw, the rescue soaps, the forcible entry cutter, the 4-gas monitor, we have one. If it's being sent off, I would think we could borrow one or rent one but to own two, I don't know. I don't know how often we use it. Hydrant flow rings, we could keep hanging, as opposed to buying them. The ventilation saw, the jet ski collar, those are nice, but in a year with a tight budget, not knowing what's going to go on with the building, I'm not a fan of those other items.
No pun intended.
I'm sorry.
No pun intended.
Thank you. That's right. I don't know if you guys have looked at those items individually or.
I look at them, but I'm not a firefighter. And so my thoughts are, we need to make sure our staff and equipped to do is what they can do when they need to do it safely for the residents as well as for the firemen. Everything. And when that's like me, that's like you going to me and say, hey, I think you need to do a dental work this way or dental work that way.
We ever had a-
Me going to you and say, hey, you need to do it this way, Alex, as opposed to, hey, it should be
But
done.
have we ever had a forcible entry cover?
These are all new items I'm talking about are all new. They're
Yeah.
not being
We
replaced.
won't.
And I guess the way I look at it, Joe, is if once every 5 or 10 years I need a 40-foot ladder, I just borrow one from Frank. And I'm sure Surf City has all this and.
When the fire's going on, you need a
Well, not all,
ladder.
not all these things are right away.
Yeah, but I don't know when you got your fire degree. And I don't know, but I don't know how versed you are in firefighting.
I reviewed this with a former fire chief, thank you.
Well, the thing is, I had a neighbor who said, why do I need to buy anything when I could borrow yours? That was his philosophy, and I don't want to be in that position.
Have we ever been in a situation where a fire was maybe devastating because we didn't have a forcible entry cover? Cut it.
I
No,
I don't know. I'm not-
unanswerable question.
Or ventilation saw.
And I guess the hard
Well,
part
I tell
is,
you, what we're asking for is stuff to make our job safer, quicker response inside of a house. As I was just before I came over here, I listened to, there was 5 fire departments on a house that had 2 people trapped in it. And one, they had to go through the 3rd floor to get to them. And they had to forcibly cut the windows on the new houses down here are 150 mile an hour windows. You can't break it with an axe. The only way to get into it is tear it out, the whole framing, or cut the glass. And that's what these saws do, or cut the doors, get into it. Yes, we can stand there with a Halligan tool and work on them, but every minute that we work on forcing that door and getting inside is minutes that person don't have. And is one life worth what we're asking for to try to save a life or protect our life? I mean, we could have a collapse inside with part of our crew in there, and we've got to get to them as quick as possible. Safety is our goal. I don't ask for anything that we don't feel like we need. We don't buy stuff just to be buying it. And as far as borrowing this gear from another fire department, they got enough on each one of their trucks, and they're not gonna take it off their truck to lend it to us and leave their truck without it. And borrowing ladders, you don't borrow a ladder because you got what's on your trucks, and that's all all they have. They don't, I wouldn't lend Surf City my 45 foot if I needed it, if it was on my truck, because just sure as I do, that's when I'm gonna need it. And so what we're asking for is what we need. And if you'll see, I didn't ask for as much this year as we did last year. And what I've asked for this year is stuff for safety of firefighters and for people of Topsail Beach.
I need to clarify that the example with the ladder was nothing to do with fire. It was just neighbor to neighbor. But let me also ask, when we have a structure fire here, we respond, I don't know how quick it takes us, but within 10 minutes, Surf City's here as well.
If they're not on another call.
And
And if they're
I'm
on
not talking about
another
borrowing and keeping it here. I'm talking about it.
If they
If it's
arrive,
a
then they
large-
have it.
If there's a structure fire here, we're gonna have multiple units. Most likely. Fender fire, Surf City fire or back us up, correct?
Yes, sir. Hoping that none of them have a call going on. The biggest problem that we have, we are on the end. We have one way in and one way out.
Right.
We're the only department on this island that's in that situation. If Surf City is got a fire going, they've got North Topsail, Holly Ridge, Pender Lee tied up on their fire. They ain't nobody coming to us till they come from Hampstead or Maple Hill. That's our next company, if they've got a fire going on there. Or if North Topsail's got a fire going on, our next help will be coming from Station 18, which is at Porter's Neck.
That's with Fender fire.
That's with Pender Fire.
That's not including Surf City.
That's correct. And there'll be mutual aid to Surf City, to North Topsail and Holly Ridge. So
Yes, can I say something? I agree with you. If I have an emergency, I don't need you right now. I don't need you guys right now. But when I call, I want you there. And that extra minute could be the difference between somebody's life and death. And we're already bare when it comes to our firefighters anyway. Any kind of tool that we can get to them to allow them to get their job done quicker and get somebody possibly safe, maybe save the house, maybe save it from going to another house. I mean, to me, I don't want to say that, not a no-brainer, but to me, I hate that. But to me, it's something you guys should have. It's not like you're asking for something super crazy. You're asking for stuff that's going to make your job easier, better, safer for you guys. When you told me about the fact that how many guys you have and how they have to, you can't just put one guy in the house, you have to have your safety guy. To me, anything to do with safety. And if it's me that's laying in there on the floor and the house is burning, I'll write you a check for $10,000 and you put that thing in there. So I'm in there. So to me, I think having these guys' budgets protected and having the officers' budgets protected, I think it's something we need to do for our citizens and our staff and you guys too. So I'm sorry, that's just my little tirade. So sorry about that.
We're having a workshop.
I would like to say one other thing. I know you're talking about the jet ski and putting the buffer around it. That's mainly for the protection of the rescue that we're going to. You know, out there in the ocean, we got waves and we got the current. That jet ski is hard. It is hard. When you go up there and trying to get a unconscious person or a person that is drowning and fighting you, that jet ski is a bouncing and back and forth. And it don't take but one leg to hit the firefighter, the swimmer, or the patient. And then we could have 2 to 3 people in trouble. That cushion is to protect the safety of the firefighter and the person that we're trying to save from getting knocked out. That cushion, and it's I didn't even know about these cushions till we started taking the course that we take in Wilmington every year. And every jet ski at Wrights Beach and all them, they say that it's a necessity. Surf Cities put them on theirs, and it's all for safety purposes, not just to have a black liner. I'd rather have the jet ski. It's less work on us trying to clean it with this off there. But it's more safety and it's more oriented to helping the person we're trying to help survive.
There a problem with the trailer? If we have that, do we need to?
No, sir. I tried all, that's good. It fits around jet ski, it sits on the trailer. I mean, there's no problem. All that's good.
I think we saw a rise last year in the people that thought they could swim at riptides, so they might do those things like that. Any further discussion? We haven't really, given a direction.
Could have the information voted to say stuff.
I do too. I don't question the salt.
Find it out there in the rough water.
And it's all we might be able to do next year. Yeah, you know, trying to piece together right now, trying to keep taxes within reason.
If we go back to our residents, the average resident with what we have proposed right now, we're gonna be tarred and feathered, in my opinion, and rightfully so, because we're looking at a 50% increase in 2 years, and that's.
For years, for the first 5 years or whatever it is, we had the same problems and we got in trouble because we went and borrowed money. We had the same problem because we had needs and we went borrowed money from BIS. Said that we could not, so we can not raise, so we didn't raise taxes. So we could take taxes and we did for 3 years, so we could take taxes. We knew there were problems. But we thought the money was there. And so, I mean, the needs are gonna be there, guys. We got to figure out how to.
And Joe, I'm not suggesting that. I would never do that. I just we have a finite capacity for income. We need to be very judicious in every dollar we spend.
Oh, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying we had the same needs back then. And the only way we were able to beat them or not beat them was by taking borrowing that money from that, because the needs were there. These needs are gonna be here. We're gonna have to figure out a way to get the money to get those needs.
Or figure out how not to spend 30% more next year than we spent last year.
Well, I mean, yeah. If they're not needs, that's true. If it wants, it's one thing, but needs.
Okay.
Let's read through the budget we've got now. And the biggest issue is that can we delay something and still not take it off the radar? And once we get the first flush of where we are, something about it.
I have another question on fire, so we'll let you go. I happen to be talking to a person who's related to the North Topsail Public Works Director, and they told me, so it's secondhand, that their firefighters will assist with some public works tasks at times. Are you open to that? Is that something that's been considered by Public Works or by you to have your firefighters help out in some way? Now, to be fair, what I understand is we can't have them like away from their truck or, just doing anything anywhere. But if they have downtime, could they be involved with rollback around downtown or any other tasks?
They're on duty there.
They're not gonna do that. They're not gonna, what we're paying our firefighters, they're not gonna do that, and they'll be out the door. And a heartbeat. Now, we do assist in everything else that's asked to do, everything that nobody else won't do, we do. But they're not gonna roll garbage cans and stuff back. I can tell you that up front.
Okay.
And
There are water safety guys too, already. You've got 3 of them water safety trained. I mean,
we just
already
back
doing
up all
yeah.
board safety and, all times, and they're just, not gonna do it. 5, 6 years ago, some of you will remember, I asked about if we had all new hirees on police and public works and all, make them firefighters, it would help us out, it would give us somebody down here. Didn't want to do that either, so why should my guys go over to public works or anywhere else? Unless it's a necessity. Now, if it's an emergency and we need to do it, we'll do any of it. And we do it. We go cut off water, we do it all, but we're not gonna roll trash cans back.
I understand.
I mean, I definitely want to speak up for the fire department, you know, and all of our departments are very well, you know, we all do this together. It's a small town, we're a small staff, we all wear many hats. I mean, we all have our specified, job. But absolutely, if things need to be done, the firemen are always over here helping us move furniture and, just, you know, the things that we need that need to be done. They're very happy to jump in and pitch in. So I certainly don't want you to think that they, don't help with other things other than just staying at the fire department. But obviously that's what their job is.
But it defeats the purpose if they aren't there when
Yeah,
the call
they
comes
need to
in,
be
because you're adding seconds to the response.
Right, and that's why I threw in there that it would have to be something where they were close to their truck, so that they could be
But they still have
deployed.
to get back
right
to the
away.
fire department.
And we don't want to be for Topsail either. That's not a role model.
I wasn't,
I do want to point out, just so that everybody understands we're all on the same page. These capital improvement, requests that are here for those, for fire department, for police department, they do not affect the tax number per se. They come out of our capital reserve fund. So I don't, you can leave them in, you can take them out. It still doesn't make one bit of difference in the amount of taxes that we have.
But it does indirectly in that it draws down the capital reserve,
Absolutely.
which we then have to
It
replenish.
does, but what I'm saying is,
We're
Right.
not raising taxes to cover it right now.
correct, and even if you cut it all out, we wouldn't be able to lower taxes more, you know, because of those cuts. Now, the salary for the fire department, with that one firefighter, that does make a difference. So anyways, I just wanted to make sure not only this board understood that, but even, you know, the public.
one last question, I promise it's not hard. If we add the 9th firefighter, you had mentioned, I believe, that by adding these firefighters, we would reduce overtime. Is there any way to estimate how much overtime we would reduce by adding the 9th or the 10th firefighter?
It should reduce all of vacation and sick leave. It won't reduce the every day-to-day that we have to have. But it would really, in other words, if we had a person out sick or a person on vacation or any other holiday or whatever, you would not be paying another firefighter double time to come in for that person. So well, you take it, 8, you could take 8 weeks or 8 to 12 weeks of vacation, no overtime, whatever sick leave they would have, their birthday, whatever they would have, I have to bring in another firefighter to cover that shift. Now, if we got a 3-man shift and one is out sick or on vacation, then we can run that 2-man shift without bringing in another firefighter. Because normally I'm here during the day and I'm 90% of the time I'm here at any call that comes in. I'm that third person when it comes to that. But if somebody goes on vacation, then I got to bring in a firefighter just to have 3 people once I get there. So it would cut down a whole lot of overtime, in my opinion, when it comes down to sick leave, vacations, and all that stuff.
Okay, great.
I think we, this board in the past have made a promise, to grow the fire department to, and staff it. Last year we missed this cycle, so we put it out. I think we need to pick it back up and we start with that one fireman at its time. And move forward in the future.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Doing the spot. A good justification.
So, like I say, anytime anybody wants to come over and see anything we've got or have a demonstration on any piece of equipment, we'll be glad to do it.
Just don't want to try to back the truck in. I just want to do that.
Yeah, we probably don't want that either.
It'd be fun to drive forward.
Yeah.
So is there any action on the capital requests, that you want to give direction on for the next?
I think let's hold it, but knowing that if we start getting into the short roads, there might be a spot that we may have to cut one or two items.
Can we shift that forcible entry cutter to the next tax year?
You're the board, you can do what you want. That's a decision for you guys.
Yeah, it's like a 20-30% for the 12,000 out of the 48,000. It's a big chunk of change.
What's the general consensus on that?
Well, it's like anything else, you keep down the road, you're gonna have the same problem again. And you're gonna have other expenses next year. You're gonna say, well, I'm gonna do that here.
We'll have to just prioritize. So that's something we don't have, is now the time we have to have it.
I can tell you next year, you will be buying 2 new air packs. Because, we got 2 to go out next year. We'll go out in 28, so,
And how much is the air pack?
about $4,000 a piece.
Okay.
That
That to me is an absolute necessity though, you know.
Well,
I think that's it. Now we probably will come back to it in a few weeks.
Yeah, that's fine. That was, maybe, one thing it does get cut, we don't know.
we did turn in a budget that's about $40,000 cheaper than it was last year.
All right, so at this point, we're gonna keep everything in the way it is for right now, except for the one firefighter position, but as far as the capital list. Okay,
Thank y'all, appreciate it. Anybody got any questions in April? I hate to run by, I've got to be in Clayton at a funeral. Sorry.
But the same one Connie Taylor's going to.
Yes. Oh, well, I assume so.
Yes, going to Clayton.
Yeah, that's right.
probably only so many.
Okay.
44 years old, firefighter.
Oh,
Might need it. Safe travel.
So thank y'all.
What do you want to jump to now?
well, I guess we can kind of start back at the beginning. I mean, again, I don't think we need to go department by department. We've already, done that at budget workshop number 1. But obviously looking at that first page listing the changes is, I guess, do you have any questions about what we've changed, from the last proposed budget to this one? Probably,
Yeah, and we need,
we'll talk about recycling.
well, yeah, but we need to know about the rollback for what do y'all want to do? Ready to roll with it in May or not?
Yeah, I think that, obviously we put this in the budget, the proposed budget to begin obviously July 1st. If we are going to move in the direction of having rollback service, staff really best that we could go ahead and start that service in May when we begin our twice a week pickup. And of course, the season starting up. We were able to pull together some numbers for that. It would be about $5,000 for May and June for both of those positions. That would be that seasonal part-time person.
Just the exact proposal for next year, but
Okay,
it's precisely.
sure, absolutely. So, you're being just for solid waste?
For the rollback service.
Okay, you got it.
Where you have 2 new positions.
Correct.
Eliminating one, you talked about that.
Well, that's public works. So, okay, yeah, let's tie it all in together. So
Right.
currently, the way that we have it set up is there are no positions that are being funded out of the, solid waste department. There's no salary line item in that department currently. We do currently have a public works specialist position in the public works department that staff is proposing to reclassify into a public works mechanics position. In order to move from a public works specialist to the public works mechanic, there would be about a $7,000 increase in that salary for that position to be reclassified. And instead of kind of filling that public works specialist with another full-time person, essentially that would be, adding a position in the public works department. We propose to have a permanent part-time position, and instead of funding that through public works, fund that through the solid waste department. That person would be responsible mostly for rollback through the whole year. And then obviously they could be other duties as assigned within like the public works department, the grounds maintenance, that kind of thing. In addition to that, we're proposing to have a seasonal part-time person while we have the second 2-time-a-week pickup that would help with the rollback service. And that position truly would be rollback service solely. So if you were agreeable to those positions in the solid waste department, of course, this budget would start July 1st. We would propose that we go ahead and start those 2 positions in May so that we can go ahead and start the rollback service in May.
Because you don't want to start it the middle of
July
the
1.
You really need to start in May and build into it, I think.
And we also need to advertise for it and interview for that and, get someone hired. So that takes a little bit of time as well.
Could that person, I know one of the problems a lot of people talk about with rollback or with recycle or trash anyway, or some of our elderly people, some of our handicapped people, some places have a long way to roll those cans. Could that person also be available to help they had to be assigned, we would have to have a, thing, but to be able to help assist those people and get their cans.
Well, they would roll them
Out
back
to the
to
street.
where
I'm talking about the rollout. It's just some elderly people that have a long way to do it. If we had somebody could do this, could we have, it's not gonna be the whole town, but it might be 10 or might be 5 or 6 or 8.
I'm sure that's something that we can certainly discuss. I
We
would
also
say
look
that,
at it on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
Because we're all,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would just like to say though that, in our GFL contract, I'm sorry, I'm not real well versed with it right now. I wasn't prepared to speak on it, but in our GFL contract, there is a number of special pickups, for someone who puts in a special request, for a special accommodation. So I would say that GFL actually can do that now in that contract. Again, I'll have to look at the specifications on that, but it is already addressed in there. But certainly that would be a reasonable request.
We'll have available.
I understand.
That's one of the complaints I think a lot of people
Yeah,
have.
and there probably, I'm guessing 5 people, 6 people, under 10 easily that would need that.
Sure.
And because it would be moving the can in and out of their property, it would need to be set up ahead of time, because I would assume the rollback person can only roll it back to the right of way, or they're not going to be rolling it all the way to a house.
Well, and that's kind of
They're
how
just getting it off the road.
when we first started rollback service with the previous company, they were going to be pulling them all the way up to basically the house. We found out real quick that just wasn't smart. So what staff is suggesting for rollback service now is just basically kind of 10, 15, enough to be off of the street and the streetscape itself. We did get complaints about, the people pulling back the trash cans maybe in between cars or next to cars, and people didn't want that. So I think the goal is just to basically get it out of the streetscape, but not all the way up to the house.
I think though, for the service that Joe was talking about, where a person's unable to pull their card out, has to get a neighbor to do it. It's reasonable for us to look for wherever the card is.
Absolutely, and I think those would be a case by case situation. That, yes, a limited situation. Yes.
And even the postal service has that they'll deliver to the house under certain conditions. But I do think if we do that, if some type of waiver.
I think Tom would have to sign off, if a person gets that service.
I think that's probably one of the biggest complaints we have right now on a regular basis is our trash service. So the sooner we can make it palatable, the better. I was 100% on board with not having curbside recycling, but I am a believer curbside is cheaper than having it central. And yeah, if we're gonna cut costs, that's an easy place to do it. Let's give our residents something they want, which is the trash cans aren't gonna be by the side of the road unsightly. And I've given up. GFL with an arm cannot put them down straight, upright, or with a lid on.
So I think the general consensus is we were saying curbside.
Curbside, we could possibly have some residents go out.
And let's start in May.
Yeah.
Everybody okay with starting in May?
And we do have the funding, in this current budget to pay for May and June for these positions to begin. No budget, no.
And I think a lot of
There
the,
will be a budget.
We'll be moving, because we have to put up a salary line item, but it'll be department into the same department.
It's in the same pair of pants.
Yes.
the problem or the complaints are coming because the cans are out there for a long time. And there are lots of them, but once they're moved out, the number of cans is less of an issue. So the rollback, I think, will solve the problem of so many cans because you won't see them. Kind of takes care of the other problem, with the recycling issue being being curbside.
Well, maybe this is gonna be a learning curve, so that we learn.
Still learning.
Appreciate your support, Tom's.
And Tom, did you have anything to add to this?
No, you
Okay.
covered everything. Thank you.
You wanna say with public works or?
Sure.
jump around?
Just to clarify, it sounds like we're gonna spend about 24,000 on rollback in a calendar year between the two part-time positions.
$24,375.75.
There you go.
And if you do the math, it's per house, per month, it's minuscule. I mean, it's a very low number.
Again, we did reach out to a company to get a quote, and it was upwards of $100,000. So,
166.
so yeah, thank you for that. But yeah, so this is obviously the most economical
I think it's
way.
$1.50 a month per resident or per water meter.
Yeah, so this makes a lot of sense. And again, I thank Tom for coming to the table and us coming up with a solution that I think we all can be happy with. All right, so
Good.
we'll just continue now on with the Public Works Department. Now that we got Solid Waste Department out of the way. And I think the question in this department, unless you have anything else, line item. But, the big question, I guess, for Public Works Department is the reclassification of one of the positions from Public Works, Specialist to Public Works Mechanic.
I have a question. How is that different than changing like the level and staying, not being titled a mechanic? Because I'm sure he does more than mechanic work.
Currently, he does.
Right.
Will he going forward be able to do other work?
We kind of used these past couple months as a trial and error to see, me kind of assessing his abilities and what he could do and to see what this, what this would look like. And he really hasn't done anything other than mechanical work, I'd say, for the past 3 months. So it's between the generators and vehicles and lawnmowers, the Polarises, he's pretty tied up in all mechanical work.
I think our question is, will you be able to go outside of that if you are needed?
If it had to, yes. Depending on, severity of something come up, it's gonna be all hands on deck, so yeah.
Yeah.
But he's not gonna say, well, I'm a mechanic, I don't do that.
No.
Because we at this point are doing it on a commitment because we don't know how much it will save.
No, I mean, we have some numbers, like I said, for instance, I brought up last time, we had one of our generators, in the
Greg.
testing process, it went out.
Yeah.
And their solution was a $20,000 radiator replacement. He fixed it for, the part was $150. It was a thermostat. So, it's, when you have companies like that, if you're relying on, I mean, you know how they're going to try to upsell you, and not to slander Gregory or anyone, but that's, you know, they see a 20-some-year-old generator and they think, you know,
It's gotta be dead.
it's gotta be, you know, needs replaced.
It's easier for them.
It's,
Yeah.
I'll tell you another one too.
rather than take, you know, he probably had 2 days wrapped up in, you know, whatever that salary would be. 2 days wrapped up in tearing it down, assessing what was going on and getting the part. So,
He hasn't needed any additional equipment to work as a mechanic. You already had all that equipment?
right now, yes, when we move into the fire department, the thought would be we want to put a lift into that last bay and get a tire machine and balancer. That would really be the two costs that would be involved in
And
that.
ballpark, what will those run?
The lift, I think, 2-post lift was about 14,000, and the tire machine and balancer was about $3,500. It wasn't really that bad. But the money we would save doing our own tires, and that would more than pay for itself.
Are there any youth lifts that people going out of business?
Yeah, I mean, we could look into that for sure. Absolutely. We were just pricing, you know.
It'd be really helpful this year is just casually document what you would have had to go outside for in the past that you're now able to do inside, so that we can see that this more than pays for itself. Because there's pays for itself dollars that you would pay Holly Ridge Fire, but there's also pays for itself convenience.
And downtime for
Yeah.
vehicles that police officers
Yeah.
they don't have. Absolutely.
So you gotta go ahead and trail those big expenses and
Yeah.
savings.
I think this is a good proposal. We ought to go forward with it.
And I agree.
I agree. Tom, y'all are seem to be getting so much done lately that is noticeable, like cutting down dangerous intersections, doing new walk crossovers and things,
Thank you.
really a lot.
In one intersection, they got a little aggressive.
Yeah.
And we do have, like Tom said last time, we do have the work order system that we purchased, was it last year?
Yeah, so yeah, we have the Novo Solutions work order system that, like I mentioned multiple times, has GIS and has asset inventory in that, so we'll be able to, you know, track all the work that's been done on a vehicle. There's also, you know, for instance, we go out and make repairs to an access, we take pictures and we can upload it into the site. As we have, really, we only kind of touched the beginning of what we can do with that system. We're learning as we go, but, so that would be another big thing, is we'll track everything. And, you know, when we replace those tires, or, you know, it was like 6 months ago, well, no, it was a year and a half. But just being able to have control over all that data is really a good thing.
The capital request for the Bobcat or
Toolcat, yeah,
what is it?
it's Bobcat makes it, it's called a Toolcat.
Toolcat. That is mostly to improve what we're doing as opposed to, it's not replacing what we have now.
Well, yes and no.
Okay,
Currently, we have, there's 2 Polaris. There's the one's Public Works, and there's a longer red one that's older. It's a 2012 that Polaris has basically said, we're not working on. And we share that with the fire department. So if this were to be approved, that would just completely go to the fire department, and we wouldn't need that anymore. But no, this is a whole separate machine. It has a street sweeper, has basically anything you can run a Bobcat off of. You can lawnmower attachments to it, has a dump bed on the back. As I mentioned before, we went to Sunset Beach. 3 of the guys, we went and they got on it and rode it around. They're on their second one. They said they got about 12 years out of it, and they said they use it every day. So, tying that in with us canceling the Sanderson contract and taking over the landscaping here in the park and all that, that'll be good for if we gotta haul some dirt, mulch and that.
Are y'all canceling that contract?
We are strongly leaning towards that, yes.
Is that with the anticipation of having this new machine, or is that
The
regarding?
machine is gonna help. I mean, we have a dump truck, but it's a little bit, for smaller jobs, it's kind of a little bit too much for what we need it for. But, really what prompted this was, there was a lot to talk about gravel in the road and street sweeping. Reached out to DOT, basically said, if we didn't cause it, we're not coming down here and sweeping it up. So it's coming out of driveways or parking lots, not our problem. Looked into a street sweeper, which was sort of like what Surf City has. The little Tyco one was about $310,000. Thought, well, that's not happening. So looking at alternatives, and when I hired Alex, they had one at Riceville Beach, and I had never even heard of this piece of equipment before until we started. We started looking into it, and we could have the street sweeping as along with all these other tasks that it can do. It was sort of how we're handling where we're at today.
Keeping the paths, well, I think
Yeah.
it's critical, mainly from the users, the bikers, and also for the longevity of that material.
Yeah.
What kind of
Annual maintenance costs on a Tomcat?
Harmon County can fix it.
Minimal,
Like anything, it'll be under warranty for the first, whatever the warranty, Bobcat warranty is. I can't think what it is offhand, but, he'll be able to do all the work on it like he does the new mini excavator. He's already done we're already past the first, oil change and all that on the mini, so, we put some hours on that already. I think,
Parking lot over there.
yeah.
Quickly done parking lot,
Yeah.
wow.
Just updates on that real quick. DOT, I'm waiting on DOT approval. It was a whole process getting access to their portal to request the driveway permit. I finally, end of the day yesterday, I got access to the portal so I can begin uploading documents. And after speaking with them last week, they tend to think because we're a municipality and most of the approvals they're waiting on is through the municipality, that it should be a fairly quick process of getting that. So then we'll be able to move forward with paving, which is really the last big step. And that was the DOT's record, that was their hard sell. They're making us pay that. And then we can bring in the parking bumpers and then the privacy fence are ready to go. We're just waiting.
you got somebody lined up for the asphalt?
Yeah. Yeah, we're ready to move on it. It's just, I'm waiting for DOT to give us.
Are they gonna require a bond?
No, not for us.
Okay.
I think we're actually working.
Yeah, we basically had
We'll
to just,
roll that under the public safety building.
we basically just had to send them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they don't like backing out of the road.
Yeah, we know that.
At least you asked.
And a huge thank you for relocating and recycling two worthless signs.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, we relocated them back here in this intersection.
I know, because I parked to get lunch today and Bo came out and he said, "You didn't see those signs?" I said, "What signs?" He said, "You're getting ready to get a ticket." I was like, "Cool."
Yeah,
He said, "Don't worry, they just put them up today."
we just had some, some safety concerns and issues with that intersection back there. So we're just trying to keep that corner clear from parked cars. So we'll have a clear sight for people coming around that corner. Yeah. All right. Anything else with Public Works or you have anything? Ma'am?
The other capital request was the vehicle, which was a replacement for a 2002 Dodge that's more than got.
2002.
2002, more than got, it has no heat, it's more than got, you've got our money's worth out of that. So.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with position.
Yeah, that's just a regular replacement.
We'll send it together and negotiate.
Actually, Alex might be there.
Okay, thanks so much.
All right.
I guess we go ahead and move to.
Oh. While you're here.
Bush Marine,
We'll go anywhere.
next, questions on Bush Marine.
Yeah, did you have, again, no changes to the department for Bush Marina? Did you have any questions on that one? While we have Tom in the hot seat.
We talked to Jamie about charging the groups that are picking up tourists for fishing trips, sightseeing and all that down there because they're using our facility, but she explained that if we charge them, we would then have a liability, and I don't think what we could charge would be worth the potential liability, so
Yeah, and that has been brought up in the past, and it's a valid question, and, but I think too, there was the, you know, how do we enforce that also? Because especially with those fishing charter trips, I mean, they'd be going at 5 a.m. and, you know, nobody's there to see it or know it happens, so, it just, I think enforcement was also, it would be difficult to enforce.
She was thinking you'd have to have another person. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have to have longer hours for sure.
and that's not working,
Right.
so I don't know if anything else. Till we put a nightclub in there, we're gonna see no doubt.
That's not a big.
I've heard that that we can prohibit or limit commercial activities like on the beach, and I heard something about like surf camp. This is a commercial activity occurring at Bush Marina. Can we restrict that if we can't charge for it?
We haven't been restricting things like surf camps and stuff like that. It's very difficult. That's been brought up as well. We had a particular surf camp that would come here once a week in the summer and park at the town access and go out in the ocean. Public beach, it's public ocean. They weren't.
We did close that surf down camp one down, that one, we made them move. And that a couple summers ago, I'm with Steve with it, we had them, they stopped at that time.
Yeah, they started moving around to different
They
spots.
stopped,
Yeah, I don't-
yeah.
That was not a town, I mean, that could have been a conversation, absolutely. But there was no policy or ordinance or requirement, I guess, is
Yeah, I
what I'm
think-
saying by that.
They were down to South End every weekend, Saturday and Sunday.
I mean, we also have, you know, ladies who decide to go out and do a yoga class on the beach. I mean, there's really nothing that we can,
The horseback tours we can control with,
certainly,
but other than that,
and we have limited, you have to have a permit for those in order that, but now, depending on the type of event, we do have a special event permit, and if it falls under those, you know, guidelines, then we could require a special event permit. But somebody just saying, hey, meet me on the beach at 6 a.m., we're gonna do sunrise yoga, and there's 10 ladies that show up or 10 people that show up, that's not.
And this may be a good time to bring it up. We're moving through this very well, and I appreciate it. The whole, and I think we're done as of today with the horse permits on the beach. We did it yesterday. Is that
Yes,
correct?
it is.
I would like to reexamine that because I'm hearing complaints about a few things. One is maybe adjust the ordinance where they, the horses have to wear a manure bag as opposed to cleaning up, because what I'm hearing is they clean up, but it didn't always promptly. So there's the horse does their business, but the lead person is gone. And then that 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours later, they come back and they scoop it up. The manure bag, we take care of it immediately. The other is, I'm not sure we want to have commercial enterprises using our beach for horse riding. I think it's a great thing, but for individuals, maybe Pender County residents, maybe everybody, but when somebody rolls up with 8 horses or 6 horses, they're practicing this commercial enterprise, and they're not from here. There are 2 companies doing it now. And I don't know how we can skin that cat if we require a permit per horse or a maximum of 2 horses. Like if I have a horse and I want to ride on the beach, that's great. But if I have a friend and I have 2 horses, maybe we go, but it's become a commercial thing that I don't know that we want that. The neighbors down there aren't crazy about it either. There may be a way of restricting the size of trailers that come down there, because I think once you get beyond a certain number of horses, stalls in the trailer, it changes classification. I don't know exactly, and we may need to talk to our town attorney about what options we
I
have.
thought we dealt with that last year by requiring that trailers couldn't just park anywhere they wanted to.
That's what
Well,
it's
we-
on as an agenda item.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, we haven't made any changes to it. It was discussed, previous to this season, to look at, but we were already so close to the season that we weren't able to make any changes for this year, but that's absolutely something we could put on a
Yeah,
future agenda.
And not in November.
Right, absolutely.
Let's also, coordinate with the state. And you really want to control it, just open the whole beach up for horse riding. Then you have control.
I mean, the complaints more are about commercial, the people who sell rides on the beach and they bring multiple horses.
Yeah, this one, I'll bring stuff.
Yeah.
We'll definitely make sure we have that on the previous agenda.
Yeah.
Bush Marina is working pretty good.
Bush Marina's looking good.
Looking good for Ocean Marina.
Gosh, thank you again, Tom. Thank Jamie.
Beach management insurance, quality service,
The power bill.
Power bill.
Cut and dry.
any, we've got all kinds of departments. So we have Powell Bill Department, Bush Marina, Beach Management and Tourism.
Are you anticipating any resurfacing?
On the streets or sidewalks.
Streets or anything?
We got some areas, I wouldn't say resurfacing, we got some areas that, just larger patches like the one we just did down, Inlet and Godwin. We got Nixon and South Danger from that patch. We got some areas like that, but I don't see any total resurface.
And we can use that money for the,
Not the Powell
Yeah,
Bill.
we can't.
But we do have, money in this budget for streets and sidewalks, which would be where that would come
Yeah.
from.
I think that was in public works.
It was.
It was in public works.
Was that 100?
100,000.
Yeah.
That's repairs.
That was in your 600 account for your streets that you did. 100,000. Put in.
That's where we would take that out of, so, sidewalk repair, and street repair.
Item 10,740,500 parking beach. Is that for gravel for the access lots?
Okay,
That's, the 20,000, that is for, well, anything that would be up here, that would be parking
Okay.
related, yeah.
And Ms. Connie, what's CSTS NP?
Favorite.
Contracted services, tourism support, and nonprofit.
We call it cat snip, just so you know.
Cat That is donations, I take it.
It could be possibly.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was 21,000. We cut it back to 20 this year. And we have had some requests already. We have in the filter or whatever, that when you get ready, after budget is approved, they would like to come in.
There we go. What we
That
had
is
in there.
page 23 of 25, and we're looking at 10,700, 4501.
And what is the 10,774,87? 17,000
That is
festivals.
the whole Parks and Rec and festivals put together. The Parks and Rec department,
Uh-huh.
and also the festivals, like anything that we do.
Like the music concert.
Bands,
Christmas,
the parade,
Okay.
do some of those banners
All
come out of that line as
some of
well?
those
Yep,
banners also.
yep.
yes.
and the retaining.
So it's really combined in 748,798.
Yes.
Yeah, we
yes, that's
did.
correct.
Cat snaps, sorry.
You can never forget
I
that
won't
now.
forget that.
You also have under the 77402, page 23 and 25, that is where the $200,000 for the replacement of the playground equipment is. Which, as you remember, is right now proposed to come out of the capital reserve. But that is where the expense of that is in that, the line item.
That's not really affect our tax. Our tax. Things are-
Again, that's out of the capital reserve fund, so in or out, that doesn't necessarily affect the tax rate. It does affect your overall, you know,
I mean, what we got,
money
what we got
on the
left
side.
over.
Exactly. Will reduce the amount of your capital reserve funds.
Right now, in capital reserve, if you go with what's been requested, you would still have 227,000.
The capital reserve.
Yes.
That's with all of the capital
That's
reflected.
what's been requested currently. I shall change something.
Do we have all those requests summarized on one page in here somewhere?
The capital reserve.
Well, what will come out of the capital, the CIP?
I think we did have one sheet, and I don't know if I gave it to.
This is not the CIP, but this is the.
This is the capital reserve.
Right.
That's what I-
Yeah,
we did
The
that.
CRM.
we had it in one sheet. I know we have it in there per department, but I thought in the very first one, we might have had it all summarized.
If not, we can combine, I mean, we can create that.
I know we have it at some point.
No, I think we just gave it to you as the department sheet. The very
Okay.
first time we did the retreat, maybe.
So yeah, if you look in the first part of your budgets during the retreat, that's when we first presented all of the capitals. So they're all in there, but they're in my department. We'll get
It's
you.
been here somewhere.
It's in the first, budget retreat documents,
Let me ask you on,
but we'll get that to you.
stormwater and, tidal flooding, that we were gonna put in $200,000. That in here?
That is not in here
That's
yet.
not-
We'll need direction on where you want that to go.
Come from,
Or
which
Yeah.
fund, which. It's not in there.
not in there currently.
We think we won't put that in there. Whether we take it out of VIS or whether we take it out of,
Capital improvement projects.
Can't take out of VIS.
You cannot take it out of water fund.
You can take it out of, I mean, it's legal, legal,
Yeah.
except for the water fund. That's the only fund that's restricted, that you couldn't. BIS, capital improvement fund, or the,
We've got BIS
General
teed up
fund.
right now, so we'll have exactly what they need in 2027, 28. So if we take money out, you gotta put more in.
according to her, one thing, you got some, on one tax rate, you got an increase on that VIS funds. Proposed tax rate.
Yeah.
When the beach-
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what it proposed.
when the beach inlet and sound fund was created, it was for ocean and sand. Now, that doesn't mean, I mean, that's just the way it was created.
Yeah.
But, you know, but you could take it out of capital improvement projects, the CIP fund, which is the 24 fund. You have the general fund or the VIS, but you cannot take it out of water fund. So we just, you know, wherever y'all would like to take it out of, we just need direction so we can put it in.
And all I'm saying, if we take it out of BIS, we got BIS exactly right size. We did last year. Then we gotta put more money in it, or we're doing what we did in the past, to kick the can and robbing BIS. So,
I'm not saying take it out, we'll put it, we'll take out capital reserve then.
yeah, or fund it, however we wanna fund it. We just can't lower what is, in my opinion, what is dedicated to BIS, because that was set to provide for the next dredge project.
What'd you say our capital reserve balance would be?
The capital reserve balance would be 227,000 if you fund what's been requested. Right now, we have 727,721, I think. And I think it's 400,000 that's coming right now in just a
and the
minute.
total.
First page, because that's, I can see what.
Is there a point we shouldn't dip below a certain limit on that, or?
On the capital reserve?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. In my opinion, the capital reserve again has been used and, you know, for the capital reserve requested right now is 430,140. Less the 200 for the playground equipment would be the balance of the capital reserve that's been requested from the remainder of the departments. And, you use, on the average, we've been spending about 200 to 300,000 a year to replenish the vehicles, rotation of the vehicles and equipment that's been requested for the operations of the different departments.
So you're saying the only reason it's 430, it's roughly 200,000 higher because of the playground equipment
This
being
one,
it.
this
Okay,
here,
that makes
that's
sense.
correct.
And we'll still have 200,000 in it if you fund all of that,
Yes.
and then it'll get replenished by,
Well, I mean, it could.
It could.
replenished. We've got to decide if what y'all want to do, where you want, if you want to put the additional money from the fund balance from the audit of June 30th, 2025. We have not moved any money anywhere, but we do have a portion of some money that we could move. We've discussed that a little bit.
Okay.
But that's gonna, you know,
how
right
much is
now,
the amount we have we could move?
anywhere from 500 to 900.
Or that 500 is for this building here.
No.
That's after this year's budget, right? The 500.
It's in this year, but
Yes, okay. That one's there for this year.
that would be the money that would be in addition to what you have for the 50% fund balance that's required. And then we're trying to keep a good 6, 8, 10 months of operation expense in case there's a disaster.
I agree with you. I'm not, yeah. I mean,
I'm just trying to explain it. I don't know if I'm doing a good job or not.
You are, you do. I think you've done a great job. I mean, in the
Yeah.
past and yeah, but I'm just saying, you know, so, well, what I'm just saying is that, yeah, what are we gonna, well, if I say we're gonna pay 100,000, okay, that will get us started on that project, which will be kicking down the road for 6 years anyway, I know how long. We're gonna take, what we're gonna put that in our line item. We're gonna take that as money we're gonna.
I mean, you
raise.
could move 100,000 into the CIP fund if that's what you wanted to do. You could, but not say it. Build it.
But last year, I was trying to advise, don't move money from capital reserve to the BIS. They would rather move it to CIP, because the BIS is a dynamic, I can't remember exactly why, but I think it's because it's a dynamic fund for a specific purpose.
Yeah, that's what I recall.
But if we put it in CIP for stormwater for, say, Rocky Mountain,
I don't see that any different than when you've got a 10-year plan for fire hydrants, and you put
Yeah.
150,000 in. If you want to put 100,000 in there, and we call it tidewater, whatever, stormwater,
Water
not
management.
stormwater, water management,
or in that.
you know, you could do that. We're gonna have to take a look at what we've got right now in the fund balance right now. I do not have that number on top of my head. But at the end of the fiscal, you know, we'd have to take a look at what we've got so we could see where we're at. We still have this building that we've got to get the mold out of here. I don't mean that to be ugly, but we've got to renovate this building.
That's what we got.
You know, that was $500,000 that we put in there for this year. Well, so far, we've not been able to get the number. We were hoping that we maybe would be able to spend some of that prior to the end of this year, which is a couple months out. And we may still, but we still gonna have to have some funds there. So, you know, but yes, it could be put in the CIP if that's what you want to do. And then we, like I said, we need to decide if you want to move any money anywhere else from last year to help with whatever you might decide you wanted to help with or not.
We're supposed to have the title of putting money in for stormwater.
Well, I agree with Joe. We've been saying we were gonna do that for years, and it needs to be done. But, in terms of the amount, we're talking now about playground equipment was almost an emergency, so was the stormwater. I'd say it's just as urgent for two projects.
Why don't we keep a list of the things that are urgent like that, that need to be done, get back and look at things that we could shift the timing, like that saw, additional firemen, and get a little further down and then look and evaluate what are our top priorities.
Well, I don't think we need to take that out of capital reserve, the 100,000 that you're talking about. I think you need to probably put it in the CIP fund.
In the CIP,
For the water, for the title,
right?
whatever. For your capital reserve, you know, you're gonna have to put a little bit more money back in there, possibly. I mean, we're looking maybe 300,000 we might need next year just for operations, vehicles and that kind of stuff.
Are you including the playground in there?
No,
If we do the playground, you still have the 200, you know, if we do the playground, that's gonna come out of the capital reserve. You're gonna have $227,000 in there.
After we
If
take it
you
out. to
request,
200.
if you, honor the request of the 421, which includes the 200 for the playground. I'm sorry,
Total capital
Yeah.
request this year is 421,000.
which includes 200,000 of that is like,
Right, that's
Okay.
not a total.
And none of that for the stormwater.
there's nothing for stormwater anywhere.
800 and something in the fund today. Is that right?
In,
In the capital.
700,000.
well, there's 727,000
That's the number I was looking.
Yeah,
right now.
so we take out the 400 and something, that leaves your balance of 200.
27,000.
And what's the stat? I know we got that in that report yesterday from the, playground. I mean, I know we were late in getting the grant process this year. Can we fix that thing up enough fast till we get the grant one more time?
Well, we're not really, our request really does not include a grant for replacement of the playground equipment, only because of the timing of it.
And that's what he's saying.
It would
You
go
can't
into-
wait until next year.
That would be 2 years, so we would have this season, this summer season, and the
Get a
next
grant.
summer season before we could actually replace the
Get a
equipment.
grant.
If we were to go through a Cardiff grant. What we have found is the company that we are kind of working with as far as getting those quotes and ideas, and illustration drawings, that company is who we used to begin with. They give us a deep discount on the equipment. They call that their grant program. Surely it's not the way that we would think of a grant. It's a reduction for the playground equipment, for the cost,
It's kind of like buying a car.
with a rebate. If, again, if we wanted to go through the part of grant, phase, that would be 2 more seasons. So it'd be this season we have now, it would also be next season before we could even replace the equipment. I think that, the useful life of that equipment, I think we are there, so I don't know that 2 more seasons would be
Yeah.
recommended.
I thought maybe if we got it next year, we get it, we could do it.
Right.
We could get one more year out of us.
Doesn't work, yeah.
We could do a budget amendment next month if you wanted to. And just as I had stated, got this money over here from last year that we could move $100,000 if you so choose by a budget amendment to the CIP fund for water management or whatever the title you want to call it. Then next year, you would just kind of carry that forward or whatever.
That was what I was gonna ask, can it accumulate year to year?
I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. It would remain in the fund balance, but you would earmark it in your budget, just like the fire hydrants. You'd have water management.
It might be the thing you do this year.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good placeholder. We don't know what it's gonna cost.
You gotta get started.
And, but, if we pay.
But that at least would give you, like you said, a get started.
Right.
And
You can
then,
add to it.
then there would still be some money left from last year that if we need to do something, whatever that need might be, we could do it. Whether it be put a little bit more into, which we probably need to, maybe put a little bit more into the capital reserve. Maybe another 100,000 in capital reserve, that would give us 300,000 for next year. And then we need to look and see, well, there's a little bit more left, we could, whatever. But those are just decisions that need to be made. Now, if you decide, you're saying today you'd like to go ahead and I create a budget amendment to the CIP fund for $100,000 for the storm management or whatever I don't know what you want to call it, but anyway, water management, tidal stormwater, raindrop, whatever. But anyway, that's just whatever y'all decide to do that we could do. But then again, next year we could make sure that it's in the CIP fund as we're moving forward. If that makes.
Do we have a shovel project for the stormwater issue?
We got one that, we can't afford.
Yeah,
And
but it's ready to go if we decide we can afford it.
Yeah, we get, they gave us perfect drawings.
So is it ready to be started and do it incrementally over a period of years?
I don't think you do that, but even like that, we were talking about.
Where was it at a
We've got
time?
those pipes, where we've got the, if I made that business, those pipes, yeah, we were talking about. I mean, that, we can't do it, we don't have any money for either of those things right now.
We're talking about $100,000 that we can.
Well, I'm talking about $100,000, but yeah, we can, well, that one that y'all look at something where you put down a wall and putting that, that last project you came out with, yeah.
It'll cost less, I'm just waiting for the response back from
This is
engineers.
for Rocky Mountain, right?
Rocky
When you
Mountain.
showed it at the GIS meeting,
Or those pipes, when we got those pipes, where we got.
and a duck bill or two or something.
Yeah, I think, they wanted to put a duck bill on one of their lines.
It's the other.
1,200.
And it's mainly a test model, see if it's gonna work. And it may be, we've had so many different opinions on it.
That's gonna be less than 100,000, right?
Oh, yeah, it's,
The duck bills are $5,000.
Is that a high priority target for your duck bills or is Rocky Mountain or?
If 5,000 would fix one of the probably 5 big problems, that's low hanging fruit. I'd go for it.
Yeah,
$55,000.
Tom's from Holland, he doesn't think it'll fix it.
I just don't know what it's gonna do,
Yeah.
honestly. I mean, that's the
So if
thing.
you could replace the duck bill, in 1,200 block of Carolina, that might be a $5,000 job. Or it might be 10 or 20,000, I don't know.
also, yeah.
It's not 100.
But is it gonna make a difference?
So will it make a difference? Yes. How much of a difference, and will everybody be completely satisfied with the difference?
It's a standard in the industry.
Until we put them in and actually do preventative maintenance and maintain them how they should be, which the ones that are in place never were. I don't have an answer to it until we try it.
We do it, Nancy, is Wade Snyder ready to make a decision on this? Y'all are the owners.
He's gonna make a recommendation to the board,
Yeah,
for the duck bill.
next week.
Yes.
Okay.
And, but past that, he doesn't have enough financial data to say this is gonna cost this. And that's what we're trying to put a holder in to get money in the pot, so that if something comes up, we can go ahead and do it.
Let's go ahead and move to 100,000.
That's what I'm thinking might be the smartest thing. We can always give it back.
It'll be spent, yeah. It'll be, that'll be more now, I got a feeling, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
We
probably.
gotta get started somewhere.
It may, but it again, depends on how much public works can do, and, with the excavator, they can do a lot of.
We can. One of the big challenges is the most trouble spots are on private property. You know, we have them at Ward, Hines Avenue and Nixon that are on our property, but we're not having the issues there. So it really wouldn't be the spot to put that for a trial basis. So there was 2 spots on Carolina. I forget, I have it in my notes, which one they picked, to try.
There's one.
It's 1322, I believe, is the address.
Morning, she's here. I can
Yeah.
talk to her tonight.
Oh, yeah, we don't think we'll have a problem with, getting, I mean, I think we'd have to get the legal paperwork done, but that's just, I don't think we'd have any problem with cooperation from residents at all, for sure, yeah. I don't
Is
think
that
that's.
someone you know?
And I've met with her, before too. She's called and I've went up.
Yeah.
The GIS committee voted and picked one of the
Yeah,
two.
I think it was 1322 Carolina, I'm pretty sure is what they
To
picked.
try.
But we're gonna hear about that at the commissioner meeting.
Yes.
next week. So we ought to go back to the budget.
So what we said is to put 100,000 from, into that CIP fund. Budget amendment.
What I'm hearing today, maybe possibly next week, we want a budget amendment for the title flood.
We have to vote on that, John.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
You're saying you got it.
Put it in the agenda as an item for us to say we're going to move from the fund balance, the unassigned fund balance, $100,000 before June 30th, 2025, 2026.
Yeah.
And you want it in the CIP fund, is that correct?
Is asked is that the recommendation of the commissioners.
Is that the recommendation of the
Yeah.
commissioners at this time?
No, that's what I'm saying is I think we do that at the meeting next week.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the budget amendment, yeah.
It would likely be a consent agenda unless you guys pull it out, so just,
And put it on regular agenda?
right.
I mean, all I need to know is your consensus right now, that you want me to create a budget amendment.
You'll have a budget amendment at the next meeting, yeah.
Is that right? That's what I'm hearing.
We need to at least make sure William,
I think we need to have a discussion and that it shouldn't be just on the consent. But if we can
You
just
put it on the, as an agenda item?
Yeah.
After the DIS presentation.
Yeah.
Okay,
We can do that.
and what I'm hearing secondly, if I'm hearing it, is we gotta have a CIP fund for next year. Been trying to put that together. You want another 100,000 in there
But for next year.
for next year?
Yeah, well, I was gonna do that 100,000.
I don't think we addressed that at this point.
So you don't want it in the proposed budget is the question.
Well, I was gonna, if we didn't put it the other way, I was just gonna, why don't we get some money started? If we're gonna put 100,000 in this year.
Then that'll be next
Yeah,
year's
we can wait
decision.
and see what we got, but we just need to make sure we, yeah, go this one, we save some more money, yeah.
Bob, if we do this, can you get it done this year?
The duck bill?
Yeah.
As long as we get all the proper paperwork that, we're gonna have access to be able to do maintenance on that, I mean, I don't see an issue.
But it's right,
It
because
doesn't have to be,
Yeah,
but,
Because that Rocky Mountain, I know that they, I mean, Frank said Rocky Mountain, they got a plan, all they got to do is get the island. I watched him call something with it.
about putting in the CIP, it doesn't have to have this. have
And they
this
want
budget year.
Yeah,
You can have it.
That's a different plan than the one that we spent $50,000.
Oh, the yellow one in the school.
We even built what you're supposed to have to do with the retaining pond and there's no bridging like the fund that was.
So, so just to make it clear, if we move forward in this year's budget with the budget amendment at next week's meeting, we'll present it. If it gets passed, it goes into this year's budget. It's still gonna be it'll be earmarked for, water management. That will still be moved forward. So the work doesn't have to be done by July 1 and where the money goes away. In the CIP fund, it carries forward, much like the hydrant replacement.
But
Money.
it still has to be earmarked.
Yes, it'll be designated.
Yes, you need to make a decision, not this right now, but the CIP fund is gonna have to have a budget right now, just like we're doing the general fund and the water and all that. So if you want another, you want it to say CIP, or you want it to say title management, and you're saying, okay, I want to spend another 100,000 here, then it will be earmarked next year.
I think
what-
there's,
Left though, from what we're trying to do right now, it's gonna go, it'll be in the fund balance. So like if we don't spend all of it, we don't spend all the 100,000, it's gonna be remaining in the fund balance in the CIP fund. But then you as a board have to decide, well, I'd like to spend another whatever, and I'd like to earmark it for that.
So we're gonna, opt out of the second phase of that. And if we need to transfer money, down the road, once we find out what the cost is.
Well, you can do that.
just like.
Yeah.
I just don't want it to show up in this budget that we're talking about now.
The proposed budget, you don't want to add anything more in the proposed budget. You're talking about potentially doing something next week for this year's budget. Oh,
Okay,
okay.
that answers the question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Got it.
Well, we keep that one there, Justin.
Yeah. We got it. All right.
If y'all wanna have a quick.
Yes, just a quick. We're about bio break.
Yeah, we got it.
Somebody come back to
It's gonna be 30-40%. I wouldn't know. I know, but we make it up to the wrong.
Figure it out. If Connie can explain it to me, then she's gonna do all right.
Okay, so that brings us to the.
Yeah. All right, so I think we got that one settled and you'll see a budget amendment, but hopefully next week's meeting of the agenda, we'll see if we can get that all put on there in time to get, the packets out tomorrow, being Friday's holiday. Okay. So if we're good with that, I think we might move on to police department. Again, no changes from what you saw, at the last budget workshop. So if there are questions, we do have Sergeant Llewellyn here, but, you know, he said he'll do his best in the chief's absence. So, yeah, just if you have any questions, we'll see you in the chance.
Did you talk to him about the pastel colors that are decided on for the?
I told him that we decided on fancy pink. He was very excited about that.
Afraid to come to that?
No, there was just a conflict in the schedule. But he sent his best.
Nick, and we're gonna have to cut your kitchen, but y'all can get takeout from the fire department.
There you go, Nancy.
That's right.
You don't have anything you
Hey,
want to
Sergeant.
ask the sergeant?
Hey,
Do you have any questions on the police department budget? That's page 9. It starts on page 9, 25.
Again, nothing changed from
Yeah, nothing
the last time that we did the presentation with the original proposed budget.
We can't afford retirement benefits. Can we just cut that? You can't retire, we can't afford it this year.
I think the military has that option, but I don't think the fire and police department does.
See anything. And really, the increase is Lisa. The 46,000 for Lisa, the Leo separation.
Separation allowance.
Otherwise, it's
And
basically flat.
salaries.
No, that's on the supplemental.
Questions?
Okay, well, I guess you got all
You're lucky.
there.
Just sit there and smile now.
We don't want to get stinking on them.
Yeah, we don't expect a ticket this weekend, sir. Like a waiver, maybe.
Anything else?
Anything else in general fund?
Well,
Yeah, we'll need a number for that before we move on to water. But any other department?
I had a question. You put in about cost of living and bonus and stuff like that. I don't know if this would that be general fund?
yes, it would be.
Cost of living.
Salaries, yes.
I looked online and the CPI it depends on when you look at it, for 2025, it was 2.7, I think through February for the previous year was 2.4, but you have a cost of living of 3%. Should that be closer to the CPI? I mean, I know it's not even a full percent, but that's considering all the salaries. That would be a significant amount of money.
Well, I mean, that's what we're proposing for this year. I will tell you that, you know, we haven't always gone along with the CPI, and that's when it was 7, we did 2 or 3. So, I think 3 is kind of our standard, but that's certainly a decision of this board. But that is what staff's proposing.
Well, and the legal put something out, their survey that has that in, it's usually in March, isn't it?
Well, we just got.
We actually just got a survey request.
So it
There's
would be
about
doing,
17 available. Well, you know.
So
we
to
did
see what
want
others
to
are
do-
doing,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
And I mean, that's something that we can continue to, look at if we can get some of the responses. I'm not sure how quickly they'll get those put together, but to see what other towns are proposing.
Do most, while we're on this topic, most municipalities do, merit pay, or do some of them, in the corporate world, a lot of times we do bonuses. We keep the base pay along with cost of living increases, but if someone does really well, we give them a bonus as opposed to a merit increase.
Well, we do merit increases unless they've topped out in their, classification range. Once they've topped out in their, classification range, then they get, bonuses as opposed to, increases in the salary.
Okay. What was the range last year of the, bonuses? I know did you have was it 3%?
It was up to 3%.
What did it work out to be?
Based off the merit that they received, we have two.
What was but how many got, like, what was the average? Was it 2?
Go back.
Yeah, I have to go back and look now.
it wasn't 3.
It was
It was around 2, which makes sense. You would have some 3s, some 1s.
Right.
So you can end up
I think
having
it was
2.
2.
That it wasn't 3.
It was not 3, I remember that.
That was my question.
And we do that on a scale in which the evaluation questions are answered by the supervisor and submitted. And all that calculation is done kind of behind the scenes, if you will, based on their answers. So a supervisor doesn't directly make the decision whether it's 1, 2, or 3.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah. Question, discussion.
I have one I wanted to go back to. I thought we had looked at bumping the mayor's salary by 3,000. So it was meaningfully greater than the commissioners. And we did it by 25%.
Yeah, I
At
think
625 is based on the increase by 1,500.
probably did 700, to be honest.
I know it said 750 for the mayor.
Yeah, that's what mine was, but
I did 700.
Yeah, I think we did.
it's comes out to 625 if it's 1,500, doesn't it?
I can go back and take a look.
And I say take that out of our special projects if we need to.
That's what we did.
And that's what we did.
Okay, and take the rest out if we need to.
Okay, so
And if the
750.
next mayor doesn't work this hard and doesn't have a building and, you're saving us so much money right now.
She went to 750.
Yeah.
750 then for,
Yeah.
for the mayor. Got you. We'll make sure that we fix those numbers, check those numbers. Got it.
You can resign and bill us for what you've given and you come out better. But you'd have to show up more and
Wouldn't be as much fun.
it wouldn't be fun, wouldn't be fun at all.
Okay. All right, so, I'm sorry, any other questions that you guys have on the general fund? Before we move on to the water fund, if we get to that today, hopefully, we do want to talk about what we've been talking about since the retreat. We do need to come up with a different, a flat fee number for the retirement, benefit, medical benefit for retirees. I'm not gonna go back through all of it. I think you guys have been provided a ton of information, but, basically we need to move from a percentage to a flat fee number. For any retiree here, that we offer this benefit to. We've got spreadsheets, all kinds of information, but please ask if you have more questions.
Grandfathered in.
Yes,
Definitely, I know we got a policy right now.
yes.
So
we do.
everybody that's on staff now is already grandfathered into that.
That's
On that
correct.
list.
That's that list. So
Every employee.
any change we make are only be for new employees.
That is correct. Anybody, if whatever changes we make would be effective July 1, the budget would be effective July 1 of this year. Let's say you choose not to even have that benefit any longer. You can certainly do that. That would mean that anybody hired from July 1 of 26 forward would not have the benefit.
And I would recommend we discontinue it if that is, it is, health insurance is the one of the many things we can control at all, and it's going out of control. And it's really counterintuitive because the reason a lot of people continue working longer, including myself, was because of health insurance benefits. So by subsidizing, we're encouraging people, hey, we love you, but go ahead and retire early. So I would support discontinuing it, and the number, if we set it now, it can be changed annually.
And can the percentage be?
It's
they're
not a
grandfathered
percentage.
On a percentage calculation.
No, that's not, it's only the actual benefit that is grandfathered in. The amount of the benefit is not necessarily grandfathered in. I will tell you that just in conversations with the league, you've provided a benefit, and there's a certain expectation that would come along with that benefit. So I think they caution us on, changing that benefit drastically. And I'm gonna throw out round numbers.
I'd be uncomfortable changing it for the people who are eligible to retire within the next 2 or 3 years.
And they're grandfathered in.
No.
Not the amount. Not the amount.
I would not.
That's a drastic change. Someone who's already figuring on their retirement income, take away $800 a month.
Oh, we aren't suggesting taking away that. We're suggesting that that number could change. Because it's not a big number
Change all
now.
the way to zero.
No, I would take it to zero.
Well, I'm not suggesting changing it to zero. I don't think that for the immediate future, the average number now is like $800 or so per
That's
month.
About, it
Yeah.
works out, the 10% works out to about 800.
Well, anyone who's planning to retire in the next 2 or 3 years is already doing their calculations, and they're looking at that $800 and figuring it in. And it's pretty extreme for us to all of a sudden take that away. So I think it needs to continue for a few years for people who are immediately eligible to retire. And say in.
I don't think
3
you
to
can
5
set
years,
it
they
for
have.
future years, can you?
Yes,
No, that's the point.
We
You
can
can tell,
revisit it next
you
year.
can tell them that we're going to seriously consider phasing this out over a period of years, right?
well, again,
You can't face it.
you can't phase it out for those who are already grandfathered in. I can't tell you an exact number that you can go down to. All I can tell you is that if you change the benefit drastically, we've been cautioned on that. A person who has this benefit now, whether it's going to be used in 2 years now or 5 years or 10 years, they're counting on this benefit, right?
Well, my
So-
message would be, we're not changing it this year. We don't anticipate changing it next year, but after that,
I get what you're
it
saying.
might get zero.
You can't get zero.
No,
You can't take it away.
You can't take it
I
away.
think
This is a zero.
you're conflating the
Okay.
two issues, I think, Judd.
Oh, they
John,
can't.
you're conflating two issues. One is, what are we gonna offer people who get hired after July 1st?
Right.
Nancy's suggestion was that they have no medical retirement benefits if they're hired after July 1st.
Correct.
But everybody who's on the system now, we're obligated to pay them something.
Yes.
It was, they were on our insurance, but now we can't do that. And we're talking about doing a flat fee as opposed to a percent,
Well,
a flat amount.
Expressed that way, I'm fine, but it's got to go down much lower.
But again,
dollars.
you have to, and again, I'm not saying you can't. I'm telling you that the town And this is for a future conversation, because it doesn't sound like this is now, but I just want this to be out there. The benefit that the people that are grandfathered on, whether that's today, tomorrow, 5 years, 10 years, they have an expectation of a particular benefit.
Yeah.
You can change that number. The league cautions us on changing it drastically. If you're offering 800 and you go down to $5, that's drastic. Do you see what I mean?
I would
Now-
not- I would not.
My recommendation would be no lower than $500, and we know on the spreadsheet, you can put the number in there and see what it costs you. And again, it's a hypothetical exercise, because a lot of people are eligible to draw this now and are still working. So by the time, I'm not gonna name names, but by the time they get it, they won't need it. So this is the maximum you would have, but it really starts increasing in about 2032. So you don't want to commit to something today through then, because the number becomes meaningful.
Yeah, I guess you understand what I'm saying.
I'm understanding exactly what you're saying.
No, you don't. Because what I would say is, let's continue at the present level for people who are very close to retirement. But clearly caution them that in the future, and that's somewhere, maybe past 5 years, you can't really expect this, because we're not required to do it.
We have to give it. We have to give it to them.
If I, we have to give them a dollar.
You're gonna get sued.
There
if
you
go
go.
to that. That's what
It's
Christina's
liability.
saying. It has to have a relationship, meaningful relationship with what you paid before. On average, what we're paying was $800. To go to $1 is saying, we know we can't discontinue it, but we're ignoring it completely.
Why would we not take it down at whatever rate we seem to think we can take it down to, but get low, so that we're not obligating future commissioners.
And this is something that we can get more information on. I think besides talking about 10 years from now and 5 years from now and all of that, I think you realize that the number can be looked at and reevaluated on an annual basis for those who are already grandfathered in. Okay, I'm just talking about the ones that are grandfathered in now. And I think maybe we would need a little bit more education and guidance onto what we can do with that number in the future before we I don't want, again, make future promises, on something that maybe we don't want to bind ourselves to.
Well, I fully agree, and, my point is, we can't do anything drastic in the next year. We want to go from 800 to, even $500 suggestion is pretty drastic for someone who's already planning their retirement.
That's not a break-up number, though.
It's not a break-up.
100 would be a break-up number.
Yeah, I think, that number is still in the acceptable range, I'd say.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those things where we can't tell you what the number is. I can tell you that whatever someone would deem to be drastic could be a lot, your drastic could be different than your drastic. So
Absolutely.
I think, again, we need to have more guidance on this as far as the future and how that looks for the town.
Our employees need to clearly understand that is a year-by-year decision, and they're not guaranteed that 800 or 500 or whatever any longer than next year.
I think that they are, again, they're grandfathered into the benefit. Now, the benefit number can change. I think that's where we need to get more guidance on as far as where that number can be.
That's what I'm trying to say, is that they need to be clearly cautioned that this is not a guaranteed number to stay anywhere near what it is now.
And what are our competing towns or things doing? Do they have the same program?
Well, we did reach out to the league to determine, I don't think we got, did we get actual numbers or actual
Most people
data,
are,
but
are
not
not
offering it any longer?
offering it any longer because of the change with the medical
Yeah.
insurance.
And that's what we were told by the league as well.
So you used to be able to put them in a group plan, and so it
Yes.
spread it
Yes.
out, but
That's
they
what
won't
I'm
allow
trying
that
to
anymore.
explain
You're
to them.
retired, you're off.
I think everybody gets it.
So, yeah.
5 years, the person getting $800 and they're only gonna get, I don't know if you can.
No, but I think,
Well, that's what
I
I
would
said,
rather
we need more
pick us a
guidance before they-
day number than have it go just like that, because it would be very hard to plan.
Make it go just like that. I'm saying.
Very great.
Say people what they're expecting, but guys who are retiring in 10 years aren't doing those calculations yet.
And whatever we said has to be for everybody. It can't be for people near retire. But it sounds like is there any objection to ending the benefit July 1st?
I vote we end the benefit.
I don't have an objection.
July 1st.
We should end it.
I think that's a mistake, right? It's a disservice to those who are close to retirement.
We
Grandmother,
got people grandfathered in to 2029.
Somebody get guaranteed $800 next year.
We're a separate topic. Roll back.
There's kind of two topics at hand, okay? Let's take away the number amount. Let's take away the dollar amount right now.
All right.
Well, let's just talk about the fact that they get a benefit of medical, of assistance towards their medical reimbursement. We have people who are already have been hired and who are working here currently today will receive that benefit. Period.
Hey, benefit.
Will receive that benefit.
A benefit, yeah.
A benefit.
Yes, they will, period.
We're sitting here talking about changing.
We're,
the
Hold on and let her
benefit.
parse it
Right.
for you.
but then if we decide we no longer want to offer this benefit to future employees, anybody hired from July 1, 2026, when this budget is in effect, if this is what's done, that benefit will be no longer. You'll have no expectation to provide a dollar to anybody hired from July 1, 2026 forward.
Well, what can our employees today expect?
Our employees today are all grandfathered in. They will receive a benefit. The dollar amount can be reevaluated on an annual basis. We have been cautioned not to change that number drastically. That is a very gray area. I'd like for Attorney Coggins to tell us what drastically means, right? So the thing is, you have people who are counting on this benefit. They are vested in this benefit. You can't make it where it's no longer a benefit to them as far as you've dropped it to $1. You've mentioned $1, and that's why I'm just using that as an example. You can't do that. They have a vested right now into this benefit. They will probably sue the town. So it opens up your legal exposure based on how drastically you move the dollar amount to the benefit of the people who are already grandfathered.
But I could say, we're gonna end the benefit and make it 0%.
Yes, but only for people that are hired from
And
July
that's
1
what we're
forward.
trying to
Yes.
say. Let's look at two
Yes.
different ones is,
Only.
do we have a consensus on a new employee hired tomorrow? Do they get this benefit or do we discontinue
Yeah,
it?
July 1st,
July
not tomorrow.
Do we discontinue it as most other towns have in response to insurance companies saying if they retire, they can't stay on their plan?
But under the plan they're on now, which is the.
We're talking about
state plan,
people hired July 2nd. Do you want to offer them, then you have the choice. You can have this benefit or not.
No, I'm not talking about people who can be hired.
But that's what we're talking, that's
Well,
what.
we need that decision as well.
Yeah.
That we do need a decision
We
on
need
that.
an amount, but what do we do going forward with newly employed people that aren't grandfathered in? Do you want?
What did Rose say other towns are doing around? What are they?
We've talked to the league, who's been doing a much larger, evaluation, and they're seeing most municipalities move away from this benefit. But, we've also reached out to,
Hold on, let's,
but we've also reached out to, I think, just our local areas. I'm not sure. if
Yeah,
you have-
Sub City doesn't.
North Topsail. Yeah. So our local Holly Ridge doesn't. So North Topsail, Surf City, Holly Ridge, no, they do not offer this benefit. I think in general, through the league and a larger pool of small groups, they don't offer the benefit any longer either.
So that's decision one. Do you
That's
offer it
decision one.
to really hired employees beginning July 1st?
That's an easy decision.
Okay.
That's zero.
Okay, so it's, no, it's not zero, it's discontinued. The benefit is discontinued.
It doesn't impact the 23 employees. we
So
have.
are we in agreement with that on future hires? Okay.
Okay.
Rose, am I right that this change in insurance was just last year, right?
Correct. We were with insurance through the league,
Right.
and they offered retiree assisted, health insurance. So now that they dropped the
And we
pool,
paid 100%.
well, we paid 90 for the ordinance. If anyone was to retire, we were gonna pay 90%
Yeah.
and they were gonna pay 10
Okay.
of what the group insurance cost.
What have Surf City and Holly Ridge done?
Uh,
Or do
You mean
know?
previous?
I don't,
In response to the change in the insurance?
Surf City wasn't with the league for,
Okay.
Holly Ridge, I'm not sure where they were at with their insurance pool as well. They were really or not. But they didn't offer any type of retirement.
So I am hearing that as far as the policy goes, this item isn't gonna be a budget item as far as if we continue.
Right.
It's really a policy item. But if we're getting consensus that we will no longer continue this benefit beginning July 1, 2026, that we'll make that change, that language change in the personnel policy, along with some other language changes that you guys will be seeing. And then that will be voted on as part of the budget.
Okay.
So we'll make sure we revisit that, but that's the language we're gonna put in there from July 1 moving forward. We no longer offer that.
And then we need to figure out the amount that will be a commitment for next fiscal year.
Correct.
And it's not $1, probably not $800, so.
Yeah. Is that a decision you want now?
Yes, today.
I recommend, well, let me just.
A general consensus here.
You know, my main, thing here is, I mean, it's a large amount, but, and all you guys have people that work for you guys, that y'all are bosses, but these employees have given us a lot of dedication and been with us and great employees. And I know it's an extent, we're looking at the benefits on costs, but I mean, yeah, I think, yeah, if it was me, my personal business, I would look at trying to give as much as I could possibly give them on this thing,
I
just
would
because of how dedicated they all have been to us and are to us there. Now, the new employees, the people coming in, you know, they're gonna realize it's not gonna be a benefit, but I mean, these people came looking at what the benefit was. That's what my thoughts are.
I'll throw out there $560, which is 70% of what we had to pay last year.
I don't have any problem with that, but you're gonna readjust it each year as the insurance goes up.
It'll be revisited on an annual basis.
You are allowed to revisit this on an annual basis.
Yeah, but I think it's important, at least in the first few years, that we try to be consistent. And it's several years out before let's have our staff very suddenly,
Yeah,
Probably.
31, 32.
Yeah.
And there's a number of people who would potentially become eligible.
But that includes Connie, and she's not gonna leave us that soon, would you? Christina, you're on either.
Mhm.
Sam's the only person that gotta buy.
You-
550,
You said 560.
yeah, 560.
70%.
Yeah.
Well, not 70, whatever.
She said 560.
I'm okay with
560.
something in that range.
Is this a voting item?
Yeah, well, I think as long as you give us direction, we'll put it in there and then you vote on it in the budget.
suggestion or
No,
Well,
I just need a consensus.
that we can
consensus?
put it in
Mhm.
I don't know.
560. Is that what we're saying?
Works for me.
Is everybody in agreement?
Be revisited each year.
It's always, you're always
Yeah, that'd be in
eligible
your
to be
budget.
revisited each year.
Probably won't go up, but it could go down.
No, I would say that.
But it won't
No,
go
I
up.
won't go to the board after next year. Anyway. Y'all can see what.
Oh, yes, you will be.
I'll
Joe,
do what you want to with.
Joe,
I'll let you know now. I'm not.
Okay, I think,
Joe, Bill.
is that enough information?
I'm gonna bring out case of beer and we'll talk about this.
That is enough for that, and I thank you for that, work. I know it's a bit complicated, and my apologies. I tried to be clear, but it is complicated. And thank you for the number. We're gonna put that in the budget, work on it. I do want to, I think it's in our best interest, to make sure we reach out to the league and
I
say,
agree.
this is what we're thinking, and make sure that we're
Okay.
not,
Yeah.
gonna put ourselves in any kind of liability. But as long as we get the thumbs up from the league, that's the number we're gonna move with. And if it's any different, I mean, if she comes back with anything different, we'll make sure we bring that to your attention.
Okay, quickly. Okay, we can still get through the water.
We can. Thank you.
Tax,
Thanks, Joyce.
taxes, I need you want me to go back and put tax revenue neutral, or what, how do you want me to proceed with the tax ad valorem?
If you go tax revenue neutral, you're gonna come back and say, we got to take this much out then. Well, we already know what we're gonna take down.
Can we,
Yes, you'll have to take some.
That's what we have to do.
Yes. you'll have
can
to
we
take those
put
out.
the changes that we have come through on today in there and see where that takes us?
It's really the only part.
Without changing, or you, when you,
You want to cut.
It's really only, what did we make changes today? The position, the fire position? And a little bit with the, salaries and governing board. Is that the only thing that would affect? That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So that takes you about 80 to 90,000 less than what's proposed. That's not even a penny.
I think they're,
Right here.
Ms. Chatham here?
So
that's exactly where I was going.
See, is Chandler still on here, Russia?
Yes, I am. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, how are you today? Have you
Good, thanks.
enjoyed our session?
I am.
Sleep.
Thank y'all.
thank you for just hanging out here, Chazo. We certainly appreciate you.
Absolutely.
So it might be your time now. You were.
There's several changes in the model that weren't here, and this is Nancy Chazo, that weren't here last year. But rather than go through them here, I could pass them to you, Connie, and you could go through them with them. And then there are just some questions, like we've got an increase in the installment financing for the public safety building. We aren't showing anything. And aren't we pretty sure Jones Onslow will give us something for a fire truck?
Well, we're hoping we'll possibly get 500.
Yeah.
Those are all kind of future projects
Yeah.
that,
But it's still, this contemplates that, and I don't know, I just think there's some things we could go in there and reality and stress test and maybe get this down. I can't look at this room full of people and say, surprise. Actually, I could do it today, is we're raising their tax rate about 31.5%. April Fool. I just think that's more than we can be responsibly asking them to do. And maybe we can't do anything about it, but I believe we can. I think there's wiggle room.
I'm looking at the fact sheet. The CIP fund and BIS fund, I mean, we've gone through the general fund quite a bit. The increases there, what is driving that? Is the CIP fund driven by the building or is it something else?
No, there's nothing to do with
Yes,
it.
the building is not in the CIP fund.
And the BIS fund increase was that looked
Beach
at,
nourishment, making
that
sure
was
that-
projected last year.
But we already had it, so it matched exactly what we needed. So I'm not sure what changed there.
Teresa, can you answer?
Yes, so hopefully y'all can hear me well. But what we had looked at last year before we knew what the county's revaluation would come back at was that effectively the town on average needed to increase the property tax rate to generate about 32% more revenue than you were doing in fiscal 2026. So it was somewhat independent of where the assessed value, or I should say revaluation came out, but effectively we needed to go 32% above revenue neutral across the board to achieve the goals of funding your operations, including existing staff, any new staff, funding your capital needs, whether it's routine things like your fire hydrant replacements, fire truck, public safety building, and then on the BIS fund, making sure that we have enough money for that 4-year beach renourishment cycle. So the good news is that kind of fast forward to this year's preliminary budget, we're still right at that 32% mark. So we're not any better off, we're not any worse off than we were last year. And all
But
that
to
really,
stay equal on BIS, wouldn't we have gone to a 7.2 cent?
Or proposed.
Let me run the math. The number just looks higher than I would think. Yeah, shouldn't the BIS be like 7.25 cents to stay revenue neutral instead of 9?
so we set our BIS tax rate at 14.5 cents, if I'm not mistaken, for fiscal 26.
That was correct.
And so if we took that down to 7.5 cents, that would be about cutting that in half. And so that would be a little bit less than what we would need to fund the BIS fund requirements. The revenue neutral rate is about 6.8 cents. So if we went to 7.2 or thereabouts, that's a 0.4 cent tax increase, which is not enough to generate that additional 32% or so of revenue within that fund to meet our 4-year renourishment cycles.
So you're saying above what we were allocating last year, we need 32% more in BIS to be in 2028 at the 12 million number?
32% more in revenue generation. Yes.
Just for BIS?
It ends up being similar on the general fund as well, but yes to BIS. 32%.
Because when we looked at it, I'll just have to get back and look at it, what we did last year.
Last year was a 20% increase. If I remember correctly, it was like 8 cents or something.
No, last year was a 20% increase.
Yeah.
But we had BIS in particular pegged exactly for what we needed.
In other words, you were expecting no increase this year?
It should be able to, BIS, unless we put more stuff in there,
Right.
should be able to go revenue neutral.
What we were showing last year was effectively setting the property tax rate at 31.5 cents in the general fund, 2 cents in the CIP fund, and 14.5 cents in the BIS fund. And then we were saying, if we assume we capture an additional 32% of revenue as part of this upcoming reval for fiscal 27, then that new revenue at those then existing tax rates would generate enough revenue to achieve all of our goals. It's not
But I
really
thought
fast.
we in the end looked at a 20% increase in 2027 from the revaluation. I thought that's what we lowered it to, or changed it to. Or actually, that's what y'all had originally, was 20. Didn't it? Y'all remember that far back into the, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 20.
The last model that I'm looking at from June of 25 had the 32%, but I can dig back through my files to see if there was a 20% scenario in there.
And again, I just got, like at lunchtime, what the budget proposal is. And I'm gonna look through the model and compare it to last year's to be sure that we're talking apples to apples. Because it doesn't, to me, it doesn't intuitively make sense. We would have to increase taxes this year 30% on top of last year's 20. Talk to Teresa Batts and ask her how that felt.
Hmm.
So I guess it's, Chaz said, the easiest thing would be to go look, let me look through this, ask Connie and Christina, and they can get back to you after the holidays.
Yeah, that works just fine for me.
Your model rocks. We just need to be sure we're translating the right expectations into it.
Absolutely.
Any other discussion? I don't know if we can give you a tax.
We're
rate.
giving her a raise.
Well, we're gonna, I guess, leave it as is until we get
Get some
further
direction.
direction.
See, with your proposed budget, then we're looking at having to do the 29¢. According to what we got proposed for our budget.
That's what we're
what's in
using
here
for
right now. That's what's in our
numbers,
budget.
yes.
Yeah, that's what I said.
32% increase from last
So
year.
anything we have to do is, either make a lot more cuts from there. And most of those cuts are not capital needs, these are all,
Yeah, capital needs won't affect it.
it's all gonna be personnel or,
Anything in those line items, is the only, in the budget itself, is the only thing that will affect that overall number.
You gonna work on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Charza, does this have the same salary tab that it had last year?
It does. I will note that salary tab is a bit stale, so it's not actually driving anything in the model, but it's something that could certainly be resurrected if need be.
So then what do we, we'll wait, because this is the wrong forum for all of these questions. I'll ask, reach out next week to you, Ms. Connie, and you.
Yeah, that
Christina.
sounds good.
Okay, Chazzo, well, I guess that's all we need from you right now. So thank you. We'll be back in touch soon.
Sounds
Happy
good. Thank you,
Easter.
everyone. Same to you.
Thank you, Shazza. Happy Easter.
Bye-bye.
All right, I think we'll have time to go through water. Y'all have, should
Do
be
y'all have time?
pretty quick.
Okay, the water fund, it's not a whole lot of any changes there except for,
That's,
page 2 of 3.
Just the revenue.
One of your utility fund revenue.
Yeah. Right there, almost the very back.
Yep, so it'll be right behind page 25. Thank you. 25 of 25. Okay, just starting up there with the interest, I did cut that back from, last year. I had, 21,000 in there. I bumped that back to 10. The water use facility charge is pretty much cut and dried, same as last year. That's based upon the customers, and that's $40 a month for that. The water use charges, I did bump that up to 700,000 from 500,000. Certainly we should see some more revenue with our smart meters and things that we've done with our water system. Water boarding fees stayed the same. Well, I'm sorry, we actually bumped that up to 5 because we've already collected 8,600 there. Tap on fees, 12,000, same as last year. Water system development fees, 15,000, same as last year. We cut off late fees. I bumped that down to 4,000 from 5,000. No sale of surplus property, no miscellaneous revenue, and no fund balance in there this year, which is a great thing. Water pre-construction grant, that's just the finalization of the grant that we're, in with, Water, Rivers and Associates. And so that's just the balance of the grant fund, the 46,250. We'll move over to expenditures unless, anybody have any questions on the revenue? So the expenditure, page 104. And I'll just let you look through that. If you see anything you want to call your attention to or have questions on.
It looks like the governing board salaries are in the water department.
Yes, we have half in the water department and half in the administration, which that's the first 6 months, July to June, and then is that right? July.
Half of the
Yeah,
mayor,
you know, the 6
so
months.
half of the mayor's
Yeah.
salaries in there, that's why it looked like it wasn't.
So I look short.
Yeah,
It looked like it was 625, it's actually
That's right.
750.
Yeah, okay.
That makes sense.
That makes
That's what we
sense.
said.
Yeah.
We thought we did it right, but I'll be honest with you.
Now we found the money.
yeah. So we charge half of it, the first part
That
of
makes sense.
admin and the last half into the water.
Thank you for that as well, Tom. And he appreciates it too.
The
Here, money.
And, what kind of drink?
That's about the same.
Dropping pennies here that week to subsidize.
Let's tell them about the maintenance repair building, the maintenance repair building on page 204, there's $60,000 there. I'll let Tom explain that one.
Yeah, so our treatment site at Humphrey, how familiar you are with it, has a, it houses our, wells, well pumps, chemical feed pumps, and there's also a garage attached to that in the past year, we have cleared that completely out, and that's what we use now as our storage facility for all of our water parts. And that building, I don't know the age of it, it is falling apart. So, we got some quotes to replace the roof and put a new garage door and just kind of just renovate that building, and it's about $50,000. So that's why you see the big increase, in that line this year.
And I guess the other big expense would be our maintenance and service contract agreements. And if you look at the very last page, that would be right behind 4 of 4. We've given you the printout for those contracts, those agreements, and how long you're gonna have to pay those out. Starts with started in September of 24. That was for the smart meters. That goes through September of 2029. And then the water tower maintenance agreement started in 24, and that goes through 2032. And those are the fees that will be put in the budget each year for that service.
There is also we have an agreement with Southern Corrosion on our concrete ground storage tanks. That's a 10-year commitment. It is, the first year was $18,000 and it goes up by CIP every year. But that's how we got them repainted and all that stuff. So it's on a 10-year cycle as well.
And is it right to assume that these maintenance contracts, when they expire, you'll get other ones or?
Yeah.
No, okay, so.
Yeah. Tower for sure, the smart meters, new to this, that, the smart meters are brand new, so we'll see what that looks like at the end of that contract. If that's something they offer.
But just out of curiosity, when they pull the pumps to refurbish them or clean them, whatever, how'd that go?
Not good. I had to actually do a separate request. The impeller was completely gone on the pump that we pulled. So next year, when we pull the second one, We're just gonna assume, because I think they're put in at the same time. This is the ones at Humphrey. The ones here at Town Hall are a little bit newer, but, we're just gonna assume the worst and put a little bit, that's why there's a little bit more main square equipment as well. Because we're gonna pull that other pump, next year, see what it looks like.
Mentioned the yield.
Yeah, it for sure, yeah.
And then as you move on to 404, you're gonna see, emergency preparedness. I did bump that up from 7,000 to 24,000. The water system repairs, 63,000. And those are if something were to happen, we need to have some money available where we don't have to go into fund balance to get, like, if there were repairs needed. We may not use that money and it'll just go back into the fund balance. We always do use some of the money for the water systems repairs, just like what he just said. We, would have to pull it from there if something were to happen when he pulls that pump or something. And it's, major. The capital outlay, water construction plan, and that's where you saw the 46,250 in the revenue. Well, here's the other side of it for the expenses. That's to finish out that grant. Your debt service, 37,10,7,500. You can see 277,000 there. And next year, all you're going to see is 175,000 there because you're going to be paid out for well number 5. And then the other debt service is your interest. So the water fund this year's proposed budget is 1,481,050. Any questions, comments?
I think Tom's lucky this is last. Nobody's engaged now.
Everybody's working out. I will see with the water fund. I think that concludes our budget works.
I think that's
Unless the bank manager has something to say. We appreciate your time.
I mean, again, any questions that come up or anything that comes up, please let us know. Because we're constantly, making adjustments based on direction and trying to answer questions so that we can make decisions when we get into a formal meeting. Workshop.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a good meeting. Good quality of information. Some heated, some not. But I guess we're at a point, there's no public here for public comment, so let's. You folks have anything you need to address or?
Staff, any questions?
Not any questions, but I would like to say in regards, because I did want to speak up during the fire department conversation when talking about them helping other departments and things like that. Before storms and all of that, those guys are the first ones to jump on and get in the truck and go get signs. Like, I don't even have to be with them. They just ask what the rules are and they go. So they're not just singularly over there. There are things that, we're going to be moving file cabinets and things like that. They're going to be helping us. So it's not like they're idle and things like that when there aren't calls. They are helping us.
That's all they did was sleep, eat, and work out.
I don't know what they're doing when I'm not saying hi.
No, but
And
I see.
guys are good for that too. Like, it's not, we all, come together in those moments when, if I can't pull from Tom because he's right behind me, obviously, I start moving into different departments to get things done. So, none of us are singularly in our departments. We are constantly trying to help each other. So,
that's one of the things that's most remarkable about this town today is it's a huge collaborative teamwork.
Really is.
I wouldn't have made it the last 4 years without a lot of help. I'm not gonna lie.
And I will say, so far, budget until today, and that was just one page, has been so much easier than last year. I bet I'm net down a case or two of wine compared to last year. Last year I used to go home and just sit in the dark.
But one other question, if we do find not planner, but inspection guy. Yeah, that's something we might have to add back into our salary.
We have it in the salaries, we've always had it in
The
the
whole thing is,
salaries.
I mean, it's all things.
We're optimists.
We are working hard. But we also want to make sure we get the right person in the seat, not just someone to fill the seat. So, you know, they're very scarce right now. And that's not just for Topsail Beach. That's all across the state right now. There is a shortage of inspectors and, you know, we have some unique challenges or, well, not challenges, opportunities here.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, I'm optimistic that we're going to get somebody. It's going to be the right fit and hopefully, have been here for a long time.
Hopefully. And I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor? Adjourn.
Thank you, guys. That was a